Hi, my name is Christina Werner, and I will be presenting today my career speech. What do I want to be if I grow up? If you would have asked me that question 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to answer you. However, in just the past 6 years, my mind has been set. So, what do I want to be if I grow up? A teacher. I want to be an elementary teacher. I want to teach things like how to simplify, find a common denominator, and add fractions. 6 years ago, I started a job as a special education assistant for the same school district that I attended from kindergarten through my senior year. My husband also attended from kindergarten through his senior year, and both of my children currently attend the same school district. I absolutely love my job. In fact, I love it so much that I realized that I wanted more out of my job. My second year in my job field is when I started looking at the pros and cons about going back to school to obtain my teaching degree. And honestly, I felt that I found more cons than I did pros, which to me was entirely trying to convince myself that it wasn't a good idea to go back to school, when, however, it probably was the best idea. I felt like there were more factors that played a role in me not going back. My age, having kids, and a husband that I needed to take care of, um, my job and how it could impact my workability, what it would cost us for me to go back to school, and the number of years it was going to take me since I had no college background whatsoever. These were major cons, in my opinion. Looking back, I think about how silly I was to use those reasons as excuses not to go back. I started to realize that the best thing for me and my family was to go back to school and that I would get nothing but the best support from my kids and my husband and my coworkers. And this alone was the one pro that convinced me that the cons didn't matter. In my speech, I would like to give you just a brief overview of the type of college and training and stuff that is needed to obtain a teaching degree. Um, I'll start off by telling you that it is a 3-year program, which is 6 semesters. If you're like me that had no college background whatsoever, you're going to need to obtain general courses, and which for me, I am doing that currently through Ridgewater. Looking at transferring to Bemidji State University and taking their online teaching program uh, course is called the Delight Program. Um, in order to um, get into the Delight Program, you need to complete an AA degree or the Minnesota Transfer Curriculum. You have to have a BA or a BS from a regionally accredited college with a minimum of a 2.5 GPA. Um, in order to get into the Delight program, you also must take the MLTE, which is the Minnesota Teacher Licensure exam, which consists of 3 subtests. It's similar to taking your AccuPlacer. So it will consist of math, writing, and um, reading. You have to also fill out a mentorship application, and it has to be submitted. What that means is when you when you enter into the program, they want you to have a mentor, and your mentor has to be somebody who is currently a teacher in the age group that you want to teach. So for me, for elementary education, it'd be K through 6th. So I would need to find a mentor that currently teaches K through 6th grade. Um, when you complete your um, degree, you will have to apply through the state of Minnesota for your license. Um, this will take place after you've received your transcripts and your grades when the teaching program is over, and you will graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education. Um, Now, to describe what a teacher is a person who provides education for students, including classroom instruction in literacy, mathematics, reading, writing, science, and even life skills. Um, Hours vary from roughly 7:30 to 4 o'clock, possibly longer, depending on how much time you want to put in prepping for your classroom. You work 9 to 10 months out of the year. In the state of Minnesota, other states are different. Salary ranges On average, from as low as $38,000 starting to a high of $75,000. It's not a lot of money, but um, I, I honestly don't think that money matters, in my opinion. I'm happy doing what I do now, and I don't make even half of what I would make as a starting teacher. Um, Mrs. Danielson, whom I interviewed for my career speech, gave me some highlights about what she loves most about her job. Um, and two that stood out the most were light bulb moments and being able to watch the kids grow um, and develop over the course of a school year. She gave some instances where students' maturity level was so low and academics were so low, and by the time they were done, they were mastering different skills that you know, and those are things to her that she makes her love her job. Um, con- Continued education. You have to complete a number of hours in certain areas over a 5-year period. You can also take credit classes to advance lanes, which will give you more money. And these classes can also be used as continuing education classes. And what I mean for by lanes is if you've started here as a teacher, but now you want to move lanes, which would move you up education wise. And once you take classes to do this, you will also make more money. When I asked Mrs. Danielson about employment opportunities and the demand, she thought my timing would be pretty good. Within the next few years, there will be, especially in our school district, there will be teachers retiring. There are still younger single teachers that may want to advance elsewhere, maybe move closer to the metro where they could possibly make more money. Um, and my chances could be pretty good in a few years. So I guess this leaves me back to what do I want to be if I grow up? I want to be an elementary teacher. But let me leave you with this. Because I struggled deciding if I wanted to go back to school, don't let a few cons make a short term decision for you. And I say short term because that's all it's doing. It's giving you these um, ideas that it's not a good idea. Always look into the future and decide what's best for you and your family in the long term.